Teams over the weekend. And we're going to start with the 49ers, who fell to the Texans on Sunday. Mina, what went wrong for San Francisco?
What went wrong is why I said they should trade for Jalen Phillips or any pass rusher. They just didn't get any pressure. C.J. Stroud was only pressured on 21% of his dropbacks, which is the lowest rate of the season for him by far. Anyone who has watched the Houston Texans offense this year knows that against that offensive line, you should be getting more pressure than that. Obviously, the absence of Nick Bosa is the biggest reason why. I do expect San Francisco to try to address this at the trade deadline. The only question for me is how big they swing for a pass rusher, knowing that, of course, Bosa is going to come back.
Let's go to the Falcons. They were blown out by the Dolphins. This one was a real head-scratcher in a lot of ways. They're now losers of 2 straight. Marcus, what's happening in Atlanta?
Explosive plays, but they're giving up so many chunk plays with this defense. And, you know, they came out doing really well, but you saw Jalen Waddle get free. You saw Devon Achane get free. Tua played in rhythm. They never really took away his reads and his options. And give the Dolphins credit, man. It's been tumultuous this season, and they go to Atlanta and get a big road win for where they've been. But the Falcons have a lot of things that they got to fix, and Raheem got to get going ASAP to try to figure out what's going on with his football team.
Let's go to Chicago now, where the Bears lost to Baltimore. Baltimore without Lamar Jackson, by the way. Tyler Huntley starting. A late interception by Caleb Williams helped seal it for the Ravens. The Bears quarterback explained what went wrong in that crucial spot.
It was a good read. Rome man-to-man with the guy that caught the pick, and I just didn't give a good ball to Rome.
Just in my mind, there might have been another option that we could have gotten to.
Your feet tell you where and when to throw the football. And that's kind of been the story from the moment Ben Johnson became the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And I want to go to that pick and just have everyone really pay attention to Caleb's feet at the top of the drops, okay? It's going to be an under center, 12 personnel, so 1 back, 2 tight end, play action pass. That's a 3-level concept. What do I mean by 3-level concept? Okay, number 1 is going to be this deep post route. It's an alert, okay? And when I say that, it's going to be when Caleb gets to the top of his drop, you want to throw that post on 1 hitch, all right? That would be when the quarterback, after his fake, gets to the top. It's a hitch up in the pocket, launch it. That's a hitch up and launch. Now, number 2 would be that in-breaker. When you get to that in-breaker crosser, it's really wanting, ideally, to be at the top of that drop, that first hitch, or a quick second hitch. And then the third read would be this check down by the back right here. He would go through the fake, and that would be number 3. All right, so let's watch what the concept does coverage-wise, and pay attention to Caleb's feet. Once that safety bails out of there right now, and that safety goes vertically, all right, that post, it's going to be gone. We're going to take that, we're going to X out that. So then the concept would go to this crosser and then the back on the check down, all right? And you're really just, because it's a play fake, you're not really seeing people. You're seeing an area of the field. Now, Marlon's got vision as that backside corner. He's got vision kind of through here, and he's close enough where that in route is going to get very muddy for Caleb. All right, now Caleb's going to cut that ball loose, and it ends up being a pick by Wiggins, but that back is wide open in the flat. But you see the number at the bottom of the screen, and you see Caleb. For me, this is all about him at the top of his drop. Really pay attention to it. You saw that 1 second. When Caleb gets to the top of his drop, I talked to everybody about, okay, when you get to the top, I'm going to freeze it at 0. The play fake has happened. You can see he is set at the top of his pocket. Just watch how still his feet are. They don't ever move. And I've emphasized, Caleb, when and where your feet, when and where, 1 hitch, 2 hitch to 3 hitch. He's going to get to the top of the drop. They stay there. I want everyone to see it one more time. They stay there for a full second at the very top. They don't move. There is no hitch. They're just flat-footed, and that's why that ball ends up poorly placed. It's why it's late, because if Wiggins doesn't get it, I think Marlon's going to undercut it. So that's the thing right now that is kind of plateaued Caleb's performance in this offense is the feet are such a big deal. And I would have said your feet would have told you throw that ball to the check down with the back in the flat.
So interesting, because Ben Johnson's talked a lot about working on footwork with Caleb Williams, but Dan, that's not something that happens overnight, right?
Oh, God, no.
Shouldn't it happen more by now? Or?
There have been moments where it has happened.
Yeah.
I said in this offseason, it's going to take 2 years. It's just going to take 2 years because you don't see really a Jared Goff who's greased this offense do that often. And so it's just going to take time. But the feet would have told him, nope, I think he's open, but my feet are telling me I'm too late to get to the check down. I think it'll get there, yes.
It's so interesting how quickly all this happens, and what you just showed there, he really was still for
stood
like a
there,
full second.
Right?
Woo! All right, we got more coming your way here on NFL Live, and when we come back, McCarthy's coming back, you guys.
They got to play better.
Yeah, but
The roster's got to be a better performing roster.
well, it's good around him. Through week 8, going back to 1978 when the NFL went to a 16-game schedule, only the 2007 Patriots that finished 16-0 had a higher mark. These Colts slot in between them and the greatest show on turf, Rams, from 2000. That's just how good they've been. Daniel Jones joined the Pat McAfee show today, talked about his head coach.
I don't know if you know how confident he is in every single play you guys run. Every single one. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is going to be a look at this. This is going to be a touchdown. We're about to score this thing. Watch this thing. Yep. Touchdown. Yep. Is that what he's calling plays?
He doesn't give me that in the headset as much, but he will, like, when we're talking about something on the sideline, it'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to call this one. It'll probably go for 20, and then when we get the ball on 20, we'll probably call this one. We'll probably score there, but if we don't score, like, we'll call this play, and then we'll definitely score. So it's all very, very positive. Every play is going to be 15, 20-yarder, and then the next one's going to be 15.
I mean, that's a big change for Daniel Jones, like what he's had in the past, by the way.
A coach who knows he's got really good players.
Yeah, he's like, man, yeah, this is going to work. Dan, the run game, though, is a big reason of that success, a big part of their scheme, right, that the Colts have been able to use. Yeah. How have they had so much success on the ground this season?
Oh, I think that Quentin Nelson and Jonathan Taylor are the best guard running back duo in the NFL. Reality is, this is one of the, if not the most athletic offensive lines in the league, and he's one of the best stop-start backs. This is the long run, okay? You get a down block by the tackle, but then you're pulling both the guard and the center. That's a rarity in the NFL. Now, Jonathan Taylor stops for that little hole, and then watch the start. Both those defenders are deeper and have relatively fair angles on them. They barely touch him. And so you're talking about an offensive line that's very athletic and that can move so well in space, and then a back that has this really rare ability to stop and slow for that hole, and then the start ability to get full speed is special. But watching him follow Quentin Nelson right now was one of the best plays in football.
You know, people keep asking me, like, are the Colts for real? I'm like, at this point,
I think they're one of the most difficult matchups in the NFL offensively.
I love it. All right, bad news, unfortunately, coming out of Denver today is two-time All-Pro corner and Defensive Player of the Year Pat Surtain expected to miss multiple games with a left pectoral strain and could be a candidate for injured reserve. Here's Sean Payton on the impact of losing his defensive star.
That's a big deal, especially when a large part of your plan is dealing with rotation and matchups, and and you're dealing with 3 and 88, and then all of a sudden, that one element goes away. It can be a little bit disruptive.
Yeah, Surtain, a key piece of a Denver defense that has been the toughest on opposing quarterbacks this season. Look at this. Denver, the only team holding opponents under a 40 QBR this season. Remember, QBR is out of 100. And they have the lowest opponent's completion percentage while recording 10 more sacks than any other team this season. Marcus, how does the absence of Surtain potentially change Denver's defensive scheme?
Yeah, but it's a big deal. One, because of one side of the field, and you can, obviously you want to match him up usually with the best receiver, or you put him on number 2 and you allow doubles on the guys away. But you think about how much availability Vance Joseph has to either bring pressure when he wants to feel confident about Patrick Surtain and the guy that he's covering. Also, you think about how well this team pass rushes. At some point, some quarterbacks were going to get greedy and think that they could go and attack Surtain during the season, or they were going to try to see if they could make a play on that side, and it probably was going to end up in an interception. I don't think this dude's absence can be minimized because you look at his stats. It's 21 tackles, no interceptions, 9 pass defense on the year, and you like, what in the hell is going on? He's supposed to be it's because nobody throws over there. And the reason why nobody throws over there, and it shrinks the field for offenses, and it makes offensive coordinators have to have a completely different plan than what they would love to have in a week in which you don't play Patrick Surtain. So this is a big deal for them. I want to see how Vance Joseph adjusts to this up front, because I think pressure or either leaning into a 4-man rush is how you compensate, as opposed to thinking you're going to have somebody to replace it.
Yeah, you're going to need that 4-man rush to win quickly, which they do have some of the quickest edge rushers in football, in Cooper and Bonito. You're probably going to play more zone. I will say, looking at the schedule, and pull this up right here, I do think that there's a lot of winnable games even without Surtain. You're not terribly worried that pressure against Houston, Vegas, that offensive struggle. The Chiefs game, though, is the one where I think you're really going to miss him, because against that Chiefs offense, which we talked about earlier in the show, you want to have the ability to play man coverage. I'm not sure they'll have the confidence to play as much as they normally do without Surtain, so you're really going to lean on that pressure. Fortunately for Denver, one of the best pass rushes in the entire NFL.
And it is at home. Maybe that makes a difference, too. It's a little easier than having to go on the road, but either way, a huge loss. We'll see if he does end up on IR.